Hey guys, it's VGC here, and this is going to be the couple battles that I had during the VGC premiere event. It was in Babylon, New York on May 10th? Is 10th the right date?
10th is the date of yesterday.
Alright, 10th is the right date. It happened yesterday. When I'm recording this, it happened yesterday. I want to do it as quick as I can to just try and remember my whole thought process throughout the whole thing, because the farther away I do it, then my memory just kind of gets really stupid and crappy, so we want to get this done. It was, you play 5 rounds, and the people with the best win-loss ratios move on to top 8. So, this was the first battle that I had. I don't remember the exact players' names, it's just in-game names. I know there are apparently some people there that were, good, but given the fact that I didn't know who anyone was, I'm just like, alright, these are just guys I'm playing. So here I led off with Aegislash and Mienshao, as the Salmons and Meowstick lead were apparent, and I figured Meowstick was going to be a lead, and that's why I went with Aegislash, and I figured I could just get a Shadow Ball off on it if I wanted to. But he goes for a Swagger. So first turn already, I'm just like, we're going to do the confusion thing here, and I'm just already kind of annoyed. And I decided to go for the fake out on the Salmons because I figured it was the bigger threat here. And here I'm like, can we break through confusion? No we can't. No we can't. So first turn, this is the very first battle, very first turn. Already getting some hacks, and I'm not very happy about it, but now he switches out because he doesn't want to get hit with a Shadow Ball, or, you know, just predicts me to Shadow Ball the Kanga and do that again. But this time I just stance change because just in case the Salmons wants to attack me, I didn't want to risk getting confused again, but luckily I was able to King Shield, so that's another wasted turn of confusion. And he goes for the Draco Meteor on my Mienshao, which it doesn't matter because I end up having a Focus Sash anyway, so it's not going to kill. And it's going to bring me down to 1 and my Focus Sash. So, alright, I'm fine with I'm alright with the situation I'm in now, but I do know that he's Scarfed because he has sped my Mienshao, and I know he's locked into Draco. I get a Rock Slide off and don't quite take it out, and there's no damage on the Kanga. But here I figured the Kanga might want to fake out, and that's why I went for the Quick Guard here. But he goes for Draco with Salmons. He didn't go for the fake out. He probably assumed I was going to go for the fake out. But another thing to keep in mind, he didn't Mega Evolve either, and that's because Kanga's ability lets it hit Ghost type. So he ended up going for a Power Up Punch on the Aegislash, which is honestly one of the worst plays he could have done because that did activate my weakness policy here, and it let my Aegislash be at, I think, weakness policy gives +2, +1, +2? +2. +2, right. It put me at +2, and so here I was luckily able to snap out of confusion and just go for a Flash Cannon, and that Flash Cannon at +2 is going to be able to take out the Kanga in 1 hit, and that is one huge threat that was avoided. I got lucky there that I didn't get confusion hacks. I was not about to play that freaking game. I'm not happy with that game, and I didn't want to play it at all. So now he goes into Ludicolo, and he switches out his Salmons here. Because he's at -2, nothing he can, it's basically wasted if he decides to stay in. So he went into Meowstick here, and I figured I'm in a position where I cannot really King Shield. I mean, I have 2 Pokemon now. Both of them are huge threats, and I know that Ludicolo can't really, I didn't think Ludicolo could do much to Aegislash in the first place, apart from, I mean, fake out, but he went for the fake out on the Charizard, which I'm honestly fine with, because I was able to just Shadow Ball the Ludicolo. Even though, I'm playing a really risky game, not King Shielding here with the Aegislash, but honestly, I had to, in the end, if I didn't, I would literally risk losing already the first round, and that would have been really discouraging. But here I was able to go for a Heat Wave. Mainly, I don't even know. I shouldn't have gone for it. I don't, honestly, looking back on it, it was a silly thing, but I didn't have anything that could safely switch into Ludicolo, so I think I might have been going for damage here, and I figured I was just going to Shadow Ball the Meowstick here and just take it out because I really didn't want to deal with the Swagger thing either. So luckily he felt it was more important to get the Drizzle up than it was to Swagger one of my Pokemon. And here I'm still out with the Aegislash in my sword form, so The attack minus the attack doesn't matter on me, but it does matter on the Mamoswine. Luckily, the Salamence is low enough to where a Nice Shard will take it out. And here, basically, he can't really do anything but attack one of my Pokemon. And no matter which Pokemon he attacks here, the other one is going to be able to kill it. So, even though, I forgot he Giga Drained the Mamo, and here he Giga Drained the Mamo, and I'm just like, he's going to get a crap ton of health back. So here I was just hoping a Shadow Ball would be able to kill it. It barely does. But here he forfeits because either way he knows he couldn't win. So that was the first game, and it already put me at a 1-0. And basically they match you up with opponents that are the same ratio, whatever win-loss ratio as you as the rounds go on. So the next opponent I had was Ben 7000, and the Pokemon that he had here, I honestly felt like I had a pretty good matchup of it against him with the Pokemon that I choose to pick because he had 2 dragons on his team. Mamoswine pretty much takes care of that effectively, except for the Salamence because it has Intimidate. His Kangaskhan, which I figured Rotom could kind of deal with, and Mienshao would kind of deal with because of not Power Punch, but Drain Punches and the possibility of Will-O-Wisping. The Rotom would help with the Garchomp as well because it's physical, and then he has his own Rotom, which if I really wanted to, I could just Solar Beam or just try and take him out with my own Rotom and whatnot. So his own Rotom wasn't really that big of a threat, but I needed to watch out for Mienshao and Mamoswine getting Will-O-Wisp. So I don't remember, obviously, what the rest of the team was for the guy, so I'm just going off of whatever we have for this match. But I think I picked, like, pretty good matchup against him. So he led off with Salamence and Kanga. I knew, like, in my head that Kanga lead was probably going to happen, so that's why I led off with Mienshao here. And unfortunately, I always forget that usually Salamence is lead just to Intimidate, and then that obviously puts me at a disadvantage here. And he ends up withdrawing here. I really didn't think he wanted to stay in and fake out either of my Pokemon because he'd risk taking a lot of damage. But here I ended up megaing my Charizard. I think I Mega and then Protect, something like that, because I always fear Rock Slide or Stone Edge from the Salamence. So I ended up faking out the Salamence. That's why I didn't Protect. I ended up faking out the Salamence because the Rock Slide is what I was fearing. And then I figured I could just end up going for a Heat Wave and get a lot of damage. And luckily, I get a lucky burn there. Heat Wave burn doesn't happen to me often, so that was one of the bigger Haxie moments because most Salamence that I see are usually special with Draco, whatever. Draco, Flame, not even Flamethrower, but they have a special moveset, but this one ends up having Stone Edge, so I felt bad. But I figured he was going to try and go for the Charizard here, Charizard being the bigger threat, so that's why I got a free switch into Rotom as I protected, and now he ends up withdrawing Salamence, which means that obviously he's one of the the mixed sets that still have Draco, and he still ends up valuing it. So I ended up switching out the Charizard here and went to my Mienshao thinking that the Garchomp was going to just Rock Slide me, so the Rotom wasn't going to take a lot from that, and the Mienshao is resisted to that, so it really doesn't take a lot at all. And I ended up going for the Will-O-Wisp on the Garchomp. I had a feeling that he was Lumberry, just because, I mean, he ended up staying in, but here he ends up going for Protect, which I figured was going to be really obvious. That's why I ended up attacking the I attacked the Rotom with both my Pokemon here, but in the end, it doesn't matter because he ended up double protecting on the off chance that I would fake out. So that turn was pretty much pointless. He ends up withdrawing and goes into Salamence. I figured he didn't want to leave Garchomp in, so I ended up going for a Drain Punch, I believe, on the Salamence. On the off chance that he went into Kanga, I switched out, went into Kanga, but if he switched out and went into Salamence and still got the Intimidate, I knew that the Burn would be able to take out the Salamence as well, so I figured that was the best play that I could have done there, and if he stayed in, then he would have risked getting burned, but I really didn't think that was the case here, so I ended up Thunderbolting the Rotom and trying to attack the Rotom now, because I was fearing the Will-O-Wisp happening. So now that Salamence dies from Burn, that's one huge threat that is avoided, and he basically has Garchomp and Kanga left. So here he goes back into his Garchomp, which obviously he doesn't really have a very good matchup because I can just easily burn him and he's crippled. But I figured he was going to Protect here, and I also didn't want to really go for Drain Punch on the Garchomp because of Rough Skin. But I do bring the Rotom down to Citrus Berry, and he gains his health back, so gives him a little bit more longevity, and I flinched him, which I feel bad for because it's hacks, and I just ended up attacking the Rotom here because I knew the Garchomp was going to protect. And here I focused on taking out the Rotom and then just going for a Will-O-Wisp on the Garchomp to try and whittle him down more, just a little bit of residual damage, and then obviously cripple him. Luckily, I didn't end up missing any of my Will-O-Wisps, which is what I was really fearing because the Will-O-Wisp accuracy that I've had on Showdown is just horrendous. So now I just end up Will-O-Wisping the Garchomp. Obviously, he doesn't have Lumberry anymore, and he's pretty much useless at this point, so I'm not fearing Garchomp, especially now. I think he's just going for Rock Slide to try and get flinches on me because that's the best thing he can do. So here I protect because I know I want to keep my Rotom around for Kanga, and I just go for a Drain Punch on the other Rotom and just take him out. And so here he's going to be left with Garchomp and Kanga. Kanga doesn't want to get burnt for obvious reasons, so I figured the burn was the one thing that would kind of prevent him from possibly sweeping my team with Power Punch, because that's what they usually carry, is Power Punch, Fake Out, Sucker Punch, just off the top of my head. So he goes into Kang here, and then he ends up Mega Evolving this turn so he can attack twice. That's what Kanga's ability lets it do, and then I end up going for the Quick Guard here, thinking he would Fake Out, which honestly, I don't know. I feel like in hindsight I should have just gone for a Drain Punch. I wasn't really missing out on much if I lost Mienshao. I mean, I could have just literally gone for a Drain Punch, but I think he thought that I might go for a Drain Punch, and that's why he went Power Punch on the Mienshao, which honestly only gave him one boost, so it kind of worked out. But I was able to luckily get a Willow on the Kanga. So here we run into a couple complications because I end up thinking that I can bring my Charizard out now and pretty much I'd be good. I can do a lot of damage to Kanga, if not take him out at that point. And the Garchomp is already burned, so he's not a threat. So here I protect, and I end up just attacking the Garchomp here to get him out. He goes for the Rock Slide, Rotom takes some damage and whatnot. Charizard, like, I think he predicted me to protect with whatever, so Rotom ends up dying here. No, he doesn't actually. The Rotom doesn't end up dying here, but it gets taken pretty low. So now that he's at, I think he's at +3 with a burn, and I ended up going for a Hydro Pump just to take out the Garchomp. I really didn't want Charizard to take extra damage even from a burnt Garchomp here. And now the Kanga takes some residual damage, and here I go for Heat Wave and I miss. So I'm like, if this costs me the game, I'm going to be furious because that miss clearly mattered. I'm pretty sure would have taken it out at that range, if not at least taken him down to whatever. Either way, he takes out my Charizard here because of the miss, and I can't do anything else but Thunderbolted. But if I hit, that would have been game right there, but it put me in a kind of shittier spot, sadly. But I mess up here. In hindsight, I mess up here, and I went for the Protect on Mamo. I kept thinking about this play a lot after I did it, because at the time when I was playing, I was very nervous, and I did do plays that I thought were kind of stupid. Here, he either had the choice to hit the Mamo or to hit the Rotom. Either one would have taken him out, so I had no point to protect here. There was no point in me protecting here because I could have Thunderbolted the Kanga, or I could have Ice Sharded the Kanga, and either way he would have died. So me protecting with Mamoswine was just like a wasted turn. I really had no use in doing that, so I really should just attack both Pokemon, and it would have been guaranteed win right there. But luckily I won the game, so at this point I'm already 2-0. So I'm pretty confident here. And I'm just like, wow, I'm not doing horrible. And then I go against the third guy here. First of all, I'm not familiar with Moltres in VGC at all, and I'm not familiar with Machamp in VGC, and I'm not familiar with Raichu in VGC, so there's already half a team that I'm not familiar with, and it definitely gave me problems, and it definitely affected how I played this game because I was really unfamiliar with these sets. But because I went through it now and I know now, it lets me be better prepared for the next time that I run across these things. So I ended up leading with Mienshao and Mamoswine. I think I just ended up going for a Fake Out here. I wasn't aware that, at the time, I wasn't aware that Raichu got the plus 10 base speed boost, which is, otherwise I would have gone for, it doesn't even matter, I would have gone for Quick Guard. Honestly, it doesn't matter, but, like, at the time I didn't know that Raichu got the plus 10 in speed, so I was like, wow, why? But, other than that, he goes into Moltres now, and, the Dynamic Punch, I hate Dynamic Punch. It brings me down to Sash, and here I'm just sitting here hoping Mienshao can, like, break through the confusion, because I don't like confusion. No one likes confusion, but I go for the Drain Punch on the Machamp, and I get a lot of, I get about half of it off, which I'm fine with, but still I'm going to be confused, and I decided to attack the, Machamp, I think. I think I just went for Machamp here, because I'm like, I really, really don't want to get, like, half my things confused. I need to get rid of this. He's super effective to Mamo. He's super effective to that. It gets things confused, and I don't want to deal with it. So now he goes back into Raichu. I'm confused with Mienshao, and I hit myself in confusion. So already that sucks, because I think I just went for a Rock Slide here, and I get confused, and I hit myself in confusion, and I die. So fun. That works out like so much fun. So he goes for the Overheat on the Mamo here, and unfortunately I knew it would probably have fire attacks, but I thought maybe it has like Heat Wave or something, but at the time I was really unaware of what it did, so that's why I stayed in. I wasn't really sure what to do in that scenario, and I couldn't really go out into like Charizard or anything. But my last two Pokemon here ended up being Charizard and Venusaur. So I probably just went to Mega Charizard. I really couldn't do much because he has a Raichu. Raichu could just Thunderbolt me, and just being at a disadvantage of not knowing what the other team did really just affected the way I played. I probably would have played a lot different or picked different Pokemon if I knew more so of what these did. So it just opened up my eyes to just, I guess, different Pokemon. But once you know what they do, then you can be better prepared for them. So, Feint was also a move, which I didn't know what it did prior to this, because I've never, in all my VGC laddering things, I've never actually run into it until now. So, it's a useful move, and I think I'm going to switch up my team. One thing that I'm definitely, after going through this whole thing, I'm definitely switching up my team a bit. I'm not keeping Charizard any longer. You thought that Heat Wave miss was a big deal. Like, that Heat Wave miss almost cost me the game, and I just kept thinking about how, basically what he did here was just encored me into Protect. So, it's whatever. I ended up losing, and that was my first loss. I was just like, well, I mean, I really didn't know, like, half the things did. So, I mean, hopefully next time I could be better prepared for that kind of stuff, or bring better Pokemon. But in the end, I figured, especially after the last game, I really wanted to alter my team. I don't want to keep Charizard, because just the Heat Wave miss, like, looking forward, the Heat Wave miss, I missed a Heat Wave, like, I had a double Heat Wave miss one turn. And honestly, like, that kind of thing, that kind of hacks, just even one turn can literally cost you the entire game. And I want to try and make my team, like, as consistent as, like, least liable to losing because of hacks, because it's just an extra thing that you don't really need to have. You don't really need to, like, you know, suffer for. But I'm going on to this game. This was the fourth game, so right now my record is 2-1. So I still have a chance of getting top 8 if I obviously win the next two, because I think at the end of everything, no one went 5-0, but a lot of people went 4-1. So like here, if I lose this one, I thought pretty much, you know, I'm done if I don't win this one. But this one ended up being a really, really good game. Actually, I think this is one of my best VGC matches just in terms of predictions. So this guy ends up leading with Venusaur, Salamence, and I figured Salamence, he was definitely going to bring Salamence, he was definitely going to bring Venusaur. I really wanted to prevent from getting put to sleep, so that's why I brought my own Venusaur, and I brought Mamo to deal with Salamence and Venusaur. It's super effective. So he gets the Intimidate off, and he switches out. So I think if he stayed in, then it would have told me that he's Scarfed, but he's not Scarfed. That's why he switched out. Otherwise, he might have just gone for Rock Slide. But here I ended up protecting without Mega Evolving, because I also knew that he had a Politoed on his team, so I wanted to watch out for that. And it turns out he did have Politoed, so waiting to protect actually helped me, because now he brought its Politoed in, and if I Mega Evolve this turn, I'm going to be able to get the Sun up, and whatever water type attacks he wants to go for really won't affect me. Granted, it's going to give Venusaur the Chlorophyll boost. That's another thing I wanted to avoid first turn, is giving Venusaur the Chlorophyll boost. Unless he's Mega, then that kind of solves that problem. So now he goes back into Salamence. So now my Mamoswine is double intimidated. And it's pretty much I pretty much can't leave Mamoswine in because it's really not going to do a lot at all. So I ended up Mega Evolving Charizard here. And I get the Drought up, so I don't have to worry about rain. I'm fine. The only thing I'm worrying about right now is getting like Sleep Powder or something by the Venusaur. But I'm also happy that he ends up being Mega Venusaur, because then I don't worry about him having a speed boost here. So I ended up, I think I ended up just going for Heat Wave here to get as much damage as I could on the Venusaur. Plus, I get a nice chunk of damage on the Salamence. Judging by the amount that did, I really, like, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit, it has to be some kind of bulky Salamence, because the other Heat Waves I've done on other Salamences did a lot more. But Mamoswine loses. He misses the Leaf Storm, which really sucks, but, like, I don't know. I feel bad for misses, but at the same time, I'd rather, it's more damage output, but I'd rather run, like, Giga Drain, something that is, like, 100% accuracy. You can't miss it. So now I decided to switch out into Venusaur in case he wanted to put my Salamence, not Salamence, my Charizard to sleep here, and he ends up switching out Politoed to bring back the rain, which I also figured kind of would happen. So he ends up protecting with Venusaur here, and I think here I just went for the Icicle Crash on the Venusaur, but he predicted that and went for the Protect. And now I end up switching out Mamoswine because Mamoswine is already at -2. There's no point for me to keep Mamoswine in, but it gives me a good switch into Charizard because I can get the Sun up, so whatever water type attacks he wants to do won't really matter. The only thing I'm scared of right now is him Sleep Powdering Charizard because he wouldn't go for the Venusaur, but I'm questioning whether he even has it at this point. So now he goes into Salamence, which intimidates both of my Pokemon. We're both special, so it doesn't even matter. And he goes for the Hydro Pump on the Charizard, which also, it does like, the Charizard does about half. But I ended up just going for a Sludge Bomb on the Salamence. It would have been the Venusaur, but I just wanted to get as much damage on it as I could. So now he ends up switching out Politoed, maybe fearing a, he switches out Politoed, and this is exactly where I'm like, he's going to switch out Politoed. He's going to switch out Politoed. Guess what? He switches out Politoed. Guess what I went for? I went for the goddamn Ancient Power. That's right. You should have seen his face when I went for the freaking Ancient Power. I was so proud of that prediction. I won't even lie. And it just clean one-hit KOs, and guess what? I get the boost on top of that. That could not have worked out better for me. We killed the Salamence. We killed a Charizard. And so now the only two Pokemon left are Politoed and Venusaur. And I'm at +1 in everything for Charizard, so come on. Come on, I'm just like, really? That's just, it could not have worked out any better. But honestly, like, the boost didn't even matter. The boost, like, it did not matter because just getting rid of that Charizard, that was huge. That was huge. The play definitely paid off for me, and I was really happy about that. But now he goes for the Ice Beam here on my Venusaur. It does half. But either way, I'm going to get it back a lot of health from Giga Drain. There's no reason for me not to Giga Drain the Politoed. And I was kind of hoping, even though we're in the rain, that I could still just get damage off with Charizard and just Heat Wave things, pretty much. But he ends up synthesizing, which at this point is pointless because, I mean, there's no way you can, like, stall me out or anything. I pretty much have the upper hand. I just go for another Ancient Power on the Politoed, because it wouldn't miss and it would take it out. Potential boost, but even though I didn't need the boost, but it would take it out for sure. So now he has a Venusaur left. I end up going for a Sludge Bomb, and then, no, he ends up going for Sludge Bomb. I just try and do my best to kill it, but here I'm like, Heat Wave, I'm going to go for you, so please don't miss. But either way, he ends up forfeiting here because he can't do anything else. So I think that was my first 4-0. That was my first 4-0 this game, and I'm really proud of that. I'm really happy, so at this point, I'm sitting at 3-1, and we have one more round to play. And I'm at a really good record in comparison to everyone else. They had each table basically arranged by people who had the best record. You were paired with the best record. So I honestly, like, I usually found myself at the first table, like, up there. So, you know, I was doing pretty well. I was really happy with that. And I was actually going up against good players, so I like the challenge of it. So now we go into the 5th round, and I wasn't sure what to expect of Florges, honestly, other than, I guess, maybe to try and deal with Charizard Y because it's especially bulky as hell. And then I know Rotom H is usually just Overheat, Thunderbolt, maybe Willow, and then Salamence. Salamence has been on literally like every team that I've battled. Salamence just like standard, Intimidate, do things, and then Kanga comes out. So that was the deal there. And once again, I wasn't really sure what Florges did other than, I guess, trying to deal with... I don't... Honestly, like, I don't even think I was supposed to bring, like, Charizard there because he's probably going to bring Florges, but he ends up leading with Charizard. Like, when I see Salamence, I need to stop leading off with Mamoswine. That's one of the big things. I need to stop leading off with Mamoswine because Charizards are there. But here, first turn, I honestly thought he might switch out with Salamence. And I think that was honestly my first mistake already. I really predicted him to switch out with Salamence. I'm just like, let's just Ancient Power the Rotom. We'll get some damage off on it. It's super effective. We know Salamence isn't choice, but I went for the Icicle Crash on the Rotom because I thought the Salamence was going to switch out, and that is just my own, that's my own, like, misplay first turn. Otherwise, I would have gone for the Ice Shard on the Salamence, honestly, but because of crit, just kidding, the crit didn't even matter, but it tells me he's not Scarf, so that's a fun thing to note. But he goes for the Volt Switch, gets, like, half damage off on Charizard, but honestly, if you mess up first turn, you're already at a disadvantage, and it's really difficult to come back from that. And I mean, I don't know. I just really, I played way too risky this game. I'm just like, I have to win this, you know. I have to because it might be the decision between making top 8 and not. But now he goes into Kanga and he goes for the Protect, and I'm just like, Protect, you're so annoying. But I also have Quick Guard. I thought that he might just fake out either one of my Pokemon, so why not? But honestly, Quick Guard has not worked out for me at all, and I ended up going for the Ancient Power on the Salamence there, just to get damage off on him. But he goes for the Draco Meteor on the Mienshao. This time he's at -2, so I really, especially... I have Sash, so even though I lived at 3, I would have lived at 1 otherwise. But now he switches Salamence out, and I don't know if I go for a Drain Punch here. I really should have. No, he has Sucker Punch, that's why. Sucker Punch. I haven't even seen Sucker Punch until now, but yeah, Sucker Punch ends up taking out Mienshao, unfortunately. But at least he doesn't get a Power Punch boost, so that's the bright side to it. So he has Florges now, which I go for Heat Wave. Florges is still 3-hit KO, and I get a Lucky Burn there, which I still feel bad for. I feel bad for any kind of hacks, but the sun is up now, and do I have Venusaur? I think I might have Venusaur. Let's see. No, I have Rotom. I don't know why. Like, honestly, there's no good reason for me to go into Rotom right now, other than to, I guess, try and kill the Kanga, but I figured he was going to try and Sucker Punch the Charizard. That's why I went for the Protect, and I wasn't fearing Florges either, so that turn worked out pretty well for me because I got the Kanga out of the way, even though it was burnt. But they're both trying to get Charizard out of the way. The only thing is Florges, like, I have nothing that would get past Florges right now, so now he just protects with Florges, and I go for the Heat Wave. I should have gone for the Ancient Power, but I went for the Heat Wave. Lena, what are you doing? The Heat Wave still did a huge chunk, but not enough to take it out. Like, if it took it out there, it came so close to taking it out. I was just like, why? If it took it out, then I would just, whole different game, but like, if min-max damage was a thing, and it affected that, and there's like, whatever, but, you know, it wasn't a bad game. It was not by any means a bad game. So Salamence comes out. I only have a Rotom left, and I really can't do anything. I can't do anything to the Florges because it's a freaking Florges, and it's especially defensive. Like, Florges' base special defense is just crazy, but at this point I can't do anything, and I'm pretty much probably dying to a Draco Meteor. I think Rotom dies here just in one shot to a Draco Meteor. Yeah, pretty much. I'm just like, is that specs? I don't know, but this Rotom set also, this Rotom set might need some tweaking because it's not the one I use on Showdown. But that was the 5th round of this. So by the end of it, I went 3-2, but I was able to make top 8 cut and top 8 cut. I was surprised, honestly. I was surprised because this is the first VGC thing that I attended that was like official. But I do have a lot to tweak on this team. I have a lot to change. I have a lot to learn just in general because apparently I was playing against people who all like. Some of them made it to, like, worlds and things, and I'm just like, I don't know you guys, but that's pretty cool, and I just have a lot to learn. I'm still new to this, but it was definitely a really fun experience. Like, whether I win or whether I lost, I had some good battles, I had some bad battles, but either way, it was really fun, and, basically, if I could do it again, I totally would. If there's anything in the area, in my area, I'm going to it. I'm also going to nationals, so that's going to be a fun thing. But if you guys enjoy this, you can always leave a like. And as always, I love you guys very much. And